So it's big news from the NHS that is going to change the conversation around women's health, because for the very first time, we're going to have menopause included in the NHS health checks. So menopause is being officially incorporated into the NHS health check. So what does that mean for you? What should you expect? That's what I want to tackle. So the headline last week was that the government announced that dedicated questions around or about the menopause will be added to the NHS health check in England. Now, this is a proactive move. It's really important because there's still so much lack of awareness. There's still so much concern that women feel symptoms are ignored. So this is one excellent way of bringing this up front and center so that we can have a conversation. But what I think is really important is, what is the NHS health check? I think that is where we need to start in terms of having this conversation. So give me a second. Let me just pull up my bits and pieces for you. What is the NHS health check? So let me know. And the funny thing is, actually, I'm running a poll right now on the channel. I think I just started that Saturday. Was it Saturday? I think. Yeah, I think we started the poll on Saturday, where I'm looking at, I want to hear your voice. I want to hear what you have to say about the NHS health check and menopause questions, and what questions you think are most useful and should be added in there. So it's still early days. Really looking forward to your response. Please go ahead, go onto the community section and answer that poll. It's not too far down. Let me know what questions you think should be included within this conversation. But if you don't know what the NHS health check, it's a free checkup, free checkup for adults in England between the ages of 40 and 74 years. So you don't pay a penny. You get this invitation once you hit that age, or around 40 up until 74, you get sent an invitation letter, or they send you a message, say, oh, it's time for your NHS health check. Please go for that appointment. And I'm going to explain to you why. Now, it's every 5 years. So it's not an annual check. It's every 5 years. Everyone who's registered with the GP in England and who's between the age of 40 to 74, you should receive your NHS health check appointments. Why? What's the reason for the NHS health check? The main reason is to have a conversation that screens for diseases that are more likely to develop as we grow older. So things like heart disease, stroke, kidney disease, diabetes, dementia. And now we're adding menopause into the mix. I think it's a really great development. So at this appointment, what generally happens is that you have a conversation with the healthcare practitioner who's asking questions about your medical background, about your health, trying to screen for these conditions. You would also have things like your blood pressure tested, your weight and your BMI tested. You could also have a series of blood tests, including your full blood count to check for anemia, kidney function test, your renal panel, cholesterol, routine tests that you have to look at what is going on in your body at this point. So a really useful test. Think of it like an MOT at that point. And yes, at the age of 40, it's good to have an MOT. Of course, it doesn't mean that if you have any symptoms or any concerns, you can't go and speak to your doctor, of course. But this is a targeted way of trying to bring things up before they have a chance to happen, so that we're looking at reducing the risk. So from next year, from 2026, when you go for this check, a nurse or whichever the healthcare provider you're seeing will ask you the questions about menopause. Now, what are the questions? Well, the experts are still having conversations around it, but I want to get your input. I really want to know, what do you think? Which are the questions that seem confusing when it comes to menopause or not, that you think are really important that we should include in the health check. So please go and check out that poll on the channel. Okay. While those questions are still being developed, the important thing is that we want to identify women who are perimenopausal or menopausal, and catch them at that early stage, if you like, or even if they're older and have been struggling or been uncertain with symptoms, at least we can catch them at that point and have a conversation around concerns. So why is this important? Because 3 in 4 women, that's a big number. If you sit down in a room with 4 women, 3 of them are experiencing symptoms from joint pain, hot flushes, memory problems, brain fog, and so on. There's so many different other symptoms of menopause. And less than 1 in 10 actually feel they have enough information. They have access to enough information to be able to deal with the problem. So those are really big numbers. And what it's saying is that there are many of us that are suffering in silence. Our symptoms are mistaken for something else. some other condition, or it's just put down to stress. Oh, we're busy, we've got kids to look after, we've got family to look after, we've got busy jobs and so on. And so it's ignored and we suffer, stay in that cycle without getting access to either lifestyle information, counseling, or even medication that could make a difference. So having this health check at this point is really useful. What else can you expect? So the conversation will cover your well-being and any symptoms you're experiencing. This is your chance to talk about how sleep problems are giving you issues or mood changes or physical symptoms, which you may really not have connected to menopause. And so when you discuss these symptoms, the healthcare provider can then signpost you, perhaps arrange a consultation to speak about them with a doctor, signpost you to services, including treatment options, and that includes HRT as well. So there's a lot of different things that could be involved in this. It's the start. It's the start of getting the conversation going, checking if these are your needs, and then making sure that you get the right needs. Similar to if we're doing a health check and we find that somebody is at increased risk of developing a stroke, or because their cholesterol level is high, or they're smoking, or their weight is high, and so on, would usually arrange for them to go and have a further conversation with the doctor or the practice nurse and look at bringing those risks down. Similar thing. So it's really a good thing. It's not a tick box exercise. And the health secretary said last week, and I really agree with this statement. Listen, he said, no one should have to grit their teeth and just get on with what can be debilitating symptoms or be told that it's just part of life. Spot on. Absolutely true. So be aware of 2 key points, okay? It's still in the pipeline, still under development. Let's not get that wrong, but let's be expectant, because I think it's a really important development. It's important that we have staff that are well trained to be able to carry out these checks, ask the right questions sensitively, and provide the right information. So it's not something we can just rush into. It's a great idea, but we need the right staff on board. But the other thing I've just mentioned, and like I said, I found it on my poll as well, is that not many people take up their NHS health check invitations. If this is you, this is an opportunity to have an MOT. You can prepare your list of questions or things that are on your mind before you go for this appointment. Please don't ignore it. Don't, feel, oh, what does it mean? It's not important. I've actually got a good chunk of people, I think more than 20% when I checked it last, saying, oh, what is the NHS health check? Darling, if you're within the age of 40 to 74 living in England, please don't ignore your NHS health check appointment, okay? Go along, have a conversation, get checked out, get screened, because these are things that could really make a difference, could very well make a difference, even save lives, okay? And let me know what you think about the NHS health check. Do you think that this is something that is really important for us to be getting involved with at this point? Do you think it's not going to make any difference? Where are you in the scheme of things?